I look at it this way. At the end of the day, whatever I have done and whatever my experience is, I am a doctor at heart. What I basically do is to provide help to patients. So that's everything that I do in my life is geared towards only one aim: help patients.
Hello, welcome to Connie Talk, and this is Connie Lang. Today, we are delighted to invite Dr. Kenneth M.C. Cheung as our interviewee. He's the Hospital Chief Executive of the Hong Kong U Shenzhen Hospital and also leads the Area of Excellence programs in spinal deformities and rare diseases. Other than this, he's also the Jessie Ho Professor in Spine Surgery and Chair Professor at the Li Ka-shing Faculty of Medicine, the University of Hong Kong.
The Hong Kong University Shenzhen Hospital possesses unique characteristics that set it apart from other hospitals. It is closely affiliated with the University of Hong Kong while being located in Shenzhen. Professor, could you elaborate on the advantages this hospital offers compared to local hospitals in Hong Kong and Shenzhen?
But I think, first of all, it's very important for everybody to understand that we, as a hospital within the mainland area, is not what I would call a traditional hospital. The reason why Hong Kong U was asked to run a hospital within mainland China is really to innovate and to carry out healthcare reform. So what are we doing? Well, I guess what we're really doing is really trying to bring the best of both healthcare systems, in other words, Hong Kong and mainland together, and to try to find a new way of managing healthcare that is to the benefit of the population. And of course, as Hong Kong U, we are one of the top universities in the world, and we continue to aspire to develop a hospital system that is one of the top in mainland, as well as leading hospitals in the world too. And I'll give you some examples. So we came into being in 2012. By 2015, that is 3 years after our inauguration, the hospital has already achieved full international accreditation by the Australian Council on Healthcare Standards, ACHS for short. By 2017, that's 5 years after our opening, we became a top-tier Grade 3 Class A hospital. And by 2018, we became one of Guangdong Province's first high-level hospital. And by 2021, almost 10 years into our existence, and we achieved one of our most important and major milestones, and that is to become one of the 14 top national pilot hospitals for high-quality development.
So, Dr. Cheung, as a renowned expert with extensive academic and practical experience, how have you leveraged your experience to plan and steer the development of Hong Kong U Shenzhen Hospital?
I look at it this way. At the end of the day, whatever I have done and whatever my experience is, I am a doctor at heart. What I basically do is to provide help to patients. So that's everything that I do in my life is geared towards only one aim: help patients. But when we think about helping patients in the bigger sense of the word, what that really means is not only directly seeing patients in clinic, doing surgeries, etc., but also research. Because as a doctor, I see problems every day that I don't feel that there are very good solutions for currently, treatment solutions. So that's what research is about. Research is about finding new ways of treating patients, if you like, addressing pain points that we have in our treatment process, whether that is in terms of identifying the diagnosis, whether there is the current drugs or the current surgery is suboptimal. So that's what research is about. And so as an academic surgeon, I also drive research, hoping to enhance treatment. And in some ways, to me, that's even more meaningful than actually treating patients, because I kind of think that in my life as a surgeon, I may operate on thousands or hundreds of thousands of patients. But if my research is successful and changes the way that a condition is managed, I could be benefiting millions or tens of millions of people around the world. So that, to me, is very much what a doctor should be trying to do. And of course, the third thing that I think as doctors we do is we train and educate the next generation of doctors.
So, Dr. Cheung, we have think about the medical reform from a macro perspective. That, of course, with the hospital located in Shenzhen, we need to think about the Greater Bay Area. So under the current push for Greater Bay Area integration, how can residents across the region, including Hong Kong, can access and benefit from the medical services provided by the Hong Kong New Shenzhen Hospital?
Well, thank you, Connie, for asking. I think the first point I would say is that, our hospital doors are open to everybody who wants to come and see us, whether they are Shenzhen citizens, whether they are citizens from the rest of China, and that rest of China includes Hong Kong too. Indeed, even from rest of the world. And we do see patients from everywhere. From Hong Kong, for instance, something like currently about 17% of our patients coming to this hospital are visiting us from Hong Kong. If we talk about specifically from Hong Kong citizens' perspective, many people come over to our hospital for orthopedic services, for Chinese medicine services, for eye problems, as well as for heart problems. These are the four most common things that we see that come and visit to visit us for. And indeed, not only do we serve the whole population, as a hospital that bridges the gap between Hong Kong and Shenzhen, as a reform hospital with a mission to deepen Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and the Greater Bay Area collaboration, we have actually piloted a number of reforms over the years.
So how is the recent AI revolution contributing to the development of Hong Kong New Shenzhen Hospital? Has the hospital launched any new initiatives or advancement in response to this technology transformation?
Well, AI is a very interesting topic, and it's, as you know, it's a very hot topic globally and also within mainland. And many hospitals have said that, we have now implemented DeepSeek into our hospital systems and we use it for diagnosis. We have taken a slightly more cautious approach to this because if we think about how AI learns, it really learns everything there is to learn. But from our perspective, we actually don't know what they have learned. So we actually we have implemented AI and DeepSeek specifically into our hospital system.
Great.
But we first asked the question, how good is it? So I actually organized 13 different departments, from cardiac to orthopedic to surgery to ENT, et cetera, 13 different departments with, and we put together 650 different cases. Some common cases that we see every day, some really complex cases that we, are difficult to diagnose. And then we put it into the different AI systems, not only DeepSeek, but we ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on and so on. And then we ask them, what's the diagnosis? And then once they've come up with the diagnosis, we ask experts to rank how good their diagnosis is.
Verify.
So the questions we were really asking was, now, how good are they? Are they equivalent to a young doctor, an experienced doctor, or a senior professor? And then also, are they as good in cardiac surgery as they are in eye? And as well as, how about common cases versus rare cases? Are they as good in those? Because really, we don't know what they've learned and what that material is like. So we've just finished the study, and indeed, we've submitted this recently to the Lancet for publication. And to cut a long story short, what we find is that there are problems. It's actually, I would say that in general, it's pretty good, but 7% of the time, they get it wrong. And there are cases in which there are also what we call hallucinations. In other words, they come up with an answer which is non-existent at all. Now, that's really dangerous. This is what in AI they call hallucinations. So while 7% is not very high, but if you think about medical diagnosis,
we cannot afford that.
Important. It's not acceptable.
It's
not acceptable.
Tolerable. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I said we've taken a more cautious approach. And we're still working on this, and I'm sure models will improve in time. What we have used AI for is things like translation. That's very helpful.
Yeah, that's okay.
And as I mentioned, our medical records has to be by law in Chinese, but especially Hong Kong citizens or our patients from around the world, they want an English version. So we use DeepSeek to help us translate everything, and that has been very useful. And we are also using AI to help transcribe information. Sometimes we're actually experimenting with a system whereby just like today we're talking, it will summarize our conversation. So in the same way, when we talk to our patients, it will record that information. It will just summarize their medical history, if you like, and write it down. So again, simplifying workflow. And I think for those aspects, AI is very useful at this stage. Yes. I'm sure that in time, it will become much more accurate in terms of diagnosis. And then in time, we can really fully implement it in different ways. And I think, within mainland, I see this going to happen very quickly.
I'm very much looking forward to that. And I think that's going to benefit all the mainland Chinese and also Chinese nationals across the world who trust Chinese medicine and want to integrate that with Western medicine.
Thank you very much, Connie. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. So thank you very much, all the audiences, for watching the show today, and hope you enjoy the interview, and we will have more interesting interviews coming in future, and look forward to seeing you around. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you, Dr. Cheung. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.